I'm not a big fan of Halloween. It's cute in the beginning, and then cute when you have kids. Not much happening in the middle. I don't ever dress up. I wore the same costume every year in college just because I didn't want to have to think of a new one.
Which was?
Not gonna tell you. Not gonna tell you. Just gonna leave that out there as an Easter egg. I'm Hannah Kaiser, and this is the Bandwagon.
Yeah!
Bandwagon World Series, baby!
World Series edition. When last we talked, I had a whole bunch of high hopes for what I wanted to see these playoffs, and then I went and saw very little of that. None, actually. I spent the past couple of weeks traversing the country watching my ideal bracket get busted at every turn, and I'm not bitter per se, but I think we can all agree that this has been a bad postseason.
Yeah.
We've barely gotten any beef or accusations of oppositional malfeasance, but that's okay. Just because we're left with an on-paper matchup only Ronnie Snicker could love, the Astros hitting coach's mother and Braves manager's wife, doesn't mean we're going to abandon our obligation to give you someone to root for. And so I'm going to try to pick a team to bandwagon this World Series by focusing on the positives and not through process of elimination by weighing past on-field infractions against lingering retrograde racist traditions. Should be fun. All right. We're just going to award 1 point for each arbitrary category, and then we'll just see where that takes us.
Road to get here.
See, this is where we get to ding the Astros for the banging scheme. I do like a dynasty and the narrative heft of having Houston serve as this sort of semi-perpetual final boss of October, but you kind of can't talk about appearing in your third World Series in 5 years without reminding everyone that at least one of those came while cheating. The Astros are undeniably talented, and at some point we will all have to move on. This, however, is not that point. The Braves, meanwhile, are appearing in their first World Series in over 20 years, and it couldn't have happened without a late-season collapse from the Mets. The worst team in the postseason this year, the Braves didn't even have a winning record until August 6th. That's right, they spent the first 110 games of the regular season below 500. And in addition to being an inspiration for procrastinators everywhere, it is a compelling argument for front offices to continue to invest in teams that spent the first half underperforming. This is an easy one to award to the Braves for being the little engine that could overcome the injury to their MVP caliber player. All right, next up.
Lovable manager.
This is gonna be my most controversial take, but here it goes. Dusty Baker has managed 54 postseason games since his last World Series appearance with the Giants in 2002. Since then, he's established himself as an icon, an institution, an unrepentant straight shooter, and an endless supply of swag at any age.
Now, you're 72. Cool 72. You are cool 72.
Drafted by the Braves in 1967, he'll return to the site of his earliest playing days on a quest to lose his title as the winningest manager without a World Series ring, because a championship might be the only thing standing between him and a well-deserved spot in Cooperstown. It's hard to upstage the entire city of Atlanta when it comes to Hank Aaron stories, but if anyone can do it, it is Dusty Baker. And it's hard to make the baseball viewing universe go, you know, maybe it'd be nice if the Astros won. But that's literally what Dusty was hired to do. Here to be a human shield against Houston's hateability, he has leveraged that rather unfortunate opportunity into a chance to prove that he is just as much a talented tactician as he is a font of folksy soundbites. That said, I feel like nobody talks about Brian Snitker, who is also old and also on a lifelong quest to reach baseball's biggest stage. He doesn't have 1,987 managerial wins like Dusty does because he didn't get the chance to manage in the big leagues until he was 60 years old. Wow. He has never been with another organization. For more than 4 decades, he's been a bad minor league catcher for the Braves, a manager at basically every minor league level for the Braves, a bullpen coach, a bench coach, and now he's the guy tearing up when his team wins the pennant. Look at him, it's cute. A largely unsung lifer, Snit takes this one for the Braves, but I might be willing to change my mind if Dusty makes his son Darren, now 22, Bat Boy again.
October hero.
With the Astros basically out of arms towards the end of the ALCS, Framber Valdez and Luis Garcia turned the Red Sox from an offensive juggernaut into, well, you know, more like a team that was in danger of losing their playoff berth to the Mariners on the last day of the regular season. But the real hero of Houston's postseason has been Yordan Alvarez. A year after undergoing double knee surgery, just because they offer you a BOGO doesn't mean you have to take it, Alvarez batted an ALCS record .522 to bail out struggling star teammates. Of course, about 24 hours later, he was one up statistically by the Braves' Eddie Rosario. Months after being acquired for the price of one over-the-hill Kung Fu Panda, who was promptly released, Rosario earned NLCS MVP honors with the even more impressive .560 batting average with 3 home runs against the Dodgers. But the decisive factor here is that the Braves have a reliever affectionately nicknamed Tyler Nutsack. It was only a few years ago that the Yips forced Tyler Matzik out of baseball entirely, leading him down a winding road that included sessions with a Navy SEAL turned life coach, time living with his wife in a trailer park, and a stint with the independent Texas Air Hogs. And yet there he was, after 5 years away from Major League Baseball, bailing out his team by striking out some of the best bats in the game to send the Braves to the World Series. Do you get the nickname now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? Okay. If not, helpfully, fellow reliever Luke Jackson explained it to Sports Illustrated thusly, quote, because he's got to drag those huge balls out to the mound every night. And that's the only time that it's that definition and not the baseballs. So often the euphemism goes the other way. And if you're a Braves fan out there wondering, is there any cool Tyler Nutsack merch? He did actually play for the Modesto Nuts for a minute there, so maybe?
Team bit.
Maybe the first mic drop moment of the month was when Carlos Correa was so confident about this homer in the first ALCS game that rather than run, he just calmly checked his non-existent watch. Why? Because October is his time. Say what you will about the Astros, but that's cool. And when the Red Sox tried to steal his pantomime to mock him, Correa was literally like, that's cool.
It in my celebration, I thought it was kind of cool.
But it's not catching on. I mean, Sister Mary Catherine did it in maybe the only memorable first pitch so far this postseason. Where is the rest of the team? You do like a whole temporal thematic situation. On the other hand, pretty much everyone in and around the Atlanta metro area, from fans to the Falcons, is wearing pearl necklaces. And now let the Drew Barrymore show explain why.
Jock Peterson has been playing in the field wearing pearls. Yeah, Jock says they're 100% real pearls, and there's no big story behind them. He's just a fan of pearls.
And until the Astros fashion choices get the stamp of approval from daytime talk television, gotta give this one to the Braves. That said, if the Astros show up to Game 1 rocking Flava Flav style watch necklaces, I think it's a draw.
Fans.
Okay, yeah, see that. This one goes to the Astros, but in the end, even a good faith effort couldn't make them bandwagonable, and it was not especially close. So I think we're rooting for the Braves. This week for Humble Proposal, I'm just gonna run through a whole bunch of my own ideas because I haven't gotten to do that in a while, and not because it was prohibitively difficult to schedule anything else in the moving target that is the time between the matchup getting settled and my having to fly out tomorrow morning very early. First up, shorter season.
Fan.
Not a fan.
So that's like 2 for 3? All right, cool. We're doing that one. Don't expand the postseason, keep it exactly as it is. I know it's kind of like an anti-humble proposal, but next year it will be a humble proposal.
Fan.
Yeah, everybody likes that. 2 wildcards, exactly correct. No robo-umps, keep the human umps.
I love robots.
No starts after 7 p.m.
Fan.
Yeah, all right. Get rid of the base cam, that thing that TBS does where it's just a bunch of dirt until someone's foot blocks the lens.
Not a fan.
Fan.
On the other hand, perpetual bullpen cam. What are they doing out there?
Yes,
Big
fan.
fan.
Right? I would watch that instead. We're gonna get a little more controversial here. All right, starters have to throw at least 6 innings or 90 pitches, whichever comes first. I don't know why we're trying anything else like roster limits or the double hook. If you want to regulate something, just regulate the thing you want to regulate. The starters have to stay out there.
Fan.
Not a fan.
Bigger bases like they're testing in the minor leagues, but only if they also start regulating the oven mitts that they're all wearing on their hands. You can only go like ½ an inch behind your fingertips.
Not a fan.
More
Sure.
oven mitts.
Pay the minor leaguers more,
Yeah.
even if you're covering their housing expenses because they're f***ing adults who are doing a job, and just because you're putting them up in dormitories doesn't mean they also deserve a salary.
Big fan.
Fan.
We're about to go out into the off season. This is our last bandwagon in a while. And I was gonna tell you, here's how we should do baseball starting in 2022. They're fixing the CBA. They're redoing the whole CBA. And if you're listening, Rob Manfred, Tony Clark, Dan Halem, Bruce Meyer, any one of you who are gonna be sitting at the table, I want you to take this into consideration when you sit down to negotiate what baseball should look like in 2022. All right, you guys ready for this? Every base should be 1 point with a cumulative effect for extra base hits. So a double was 2 points, a triple was 3 points, a home run is 4 points, plus all the bases accumulated by whoever was on bases already. I think that would fix everything.
Banana ball.
Do you like it?
Fan.
Oh, I'm calling it total baseball. I need to put the space in.
Total
When you're
baseball.
sitting at home in the cold, dark winter of non-baseball, just let that one roll around in your brain a little bit. Total baseball. And always and forever, move the fences back.